Welcome to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your Wrexham reaction for Wrexham AFC versus Doncaster Rovers, match day 7 in the EFL League Two Championship. Yes, Wrexham come out with a 2-1 win on a very hot day at kickoff. It was 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 26 degrees Celsius. It's a hot day, but Wrexham came out with the win and battled tough. I was just listening to Parkinson there talk about the game, his little interview after the match. So we're going to dive right into it, see my thoughts on it, walk through the game a little bit, and just give a little rundown. Yeah, here's your reaction. Okay, started off, like I said, it was a hot day, but guess what? Paul Mullen was on the bench, and so was Stephen Fletcher. So that got the crowd going wild. It was great. They had Dalby up front, Palmer, Elliott in the middle, and Hayden came in as well. So it was a full side. A couple injuries. I said Ford was injured apparently during the week, but the side was strong. And going into a hot day like this, I said the conditions would have been an issue. So it was a slower game, but I thought Wrexham came out at the start really pushing the ball up front. Had Doncaster really penned back in, which was good, indicative of what Wrexham are really about, even in the hot conditions. So. Once the game started, it was just pound the ball up to Palmer. Palmer was knocking it down. He put himself about today. I thought he had a really great game as well. Palmer's a tough character, and I really liked the look of him. Yeah, he's not slow even for such a big guy. He's not slow, but yeah, kicking off they did really well. Wrexham were really penning them back in, and Doncaster, what they were doing, they were sitting back. And Wrexham were pressing up front with Dalby and Palmer, which stretched the midfield. So Doncaster were chipping the ball over to the right, picking on McLaden a little bit at the back. Thought he did well to recover for the remainder of the game, but up at the start of it, he was getting picked on down that right side there. Foul was causing him a little bit of problems, but he handled it well. Fourth minute, Dalby has a shot. Palmer should have scored. I think it was a really tight angle there. Tozer was really looking good with his recovery play. I think covering for those balls are getting chipped over the top, and it's very interesting to see how the teams are coming and playing against and trying to pull out the weaknesses in Wrexham. Whereas like last year when they were in the National League, they didn't really have any weaknesses. This, I think, like I said, they were chipping the balls over the top, and the midfield was kind of getting overrun a bit. And I'm not saying like Lee and O'Connell in the middle were not doing their jobs, but they just were kind of getting passed through, and Wrexham were not able to put their foot on the ball until about maybe the 15th or 16th minute, and try to get some, just get a little bit of slowing down the game and try to get a little bit more of the ball on the carpet. So Wrexham did try to play football a lot through that first half. 15 minute in, foul from Doncaster came down the left side. Outside of the box shot, Howard did well, punched it. He was ripped, really good. I think that Howard has come in and seamlessly just adopted getting back in after Fozzie's retirement. Also, I don't know if you got a chance this week to listen to the Fozzcast. Ben Foster's was talking about why he retired. He thinks he could have saved like 4 or 5 of the goals that happened in the first 4 games, and he's probably right, and he knows his body and the training he was doing, like traveling 2.5 hours up, training for 2.5 hours and driving 2.5 hours back. So he was in the car. He's 40 years old, but I really like after Fozzie's retirement, Howard coming in and just seamlessly just taking care of things. But as I said, Doncaster, we're not really pressing. I think they were hitting those balls over the top, couple shots here and there, and then couple issues in the middle there. Lee got a yellow card, probably rightly so. His studs were up a bit. It wasn't a red card, but Lee did collect a yellow card in the middle of the second half. I think it was, let me see here. I got my notes over here. I think it was the 20th minute. Lunge, studs up. But that kind of inspired Doncaster to get on the front foot a little bit, and at the same time, probably the weather coming into play, Palmer and Dalby were not pressing the back line a bit more, so it allowed Doncaster to come up a little bit. And Ironside had a chance for Doncaster, and we did really well in regards to just defending. I think Hayden did really well with headers while he was on. He actually went off injured on the 30th minute, which is not good. He just came back. He's so solid at the back. and having him go down, looks like he may have like pulled his hamstring or his groin or something. Max Gleeworth came on, and he thought he slotted in really well. But Boyle and I wish Tozer, just solid at the back as well, really strong. His throws came in great today. Sorry, just looking up here. It's halftime. England versus Ukraine, 1-1. England just bounced back. Southgate just can't get it right for me. Anyways, back to the game. This reaction here. So, Wrexham, really we're on the back at this point right now, about 30, 31 minutes in. Like I said, right after Hayden gets subbed off, Paul Mullen goes out to warm up, and the crowd goes nuts. The Racecourse is just going nuts. And by the way, it's 10,254 at the Racecourse ground, sold out crowd. And Doncaster Rovers had their allotment. About over 1,000 people there. Great to see on such a warm day. The energy is great. A great commentary as well. So fantastic. But Mullen comes out to warm up. Great noise. At this point, it's a little lethargic, the pace. I would assume, after the water break and even still with the heat, that's why the game wasn't pressed a little bit more. Then we go into 39, 40 minutes, and guess what happens? Luke Young scores. Finally, it was a ball in from the right. I thought Barnett did a really great job running down that right side, getting balls in. He was abusing Senior on that side. Barnett's just really, really quick and really shifty. He can create a little bit of space. Boom, crosses the ball in. Palmer header down, off the keeper, bounces out. Shot by Lee, deflected, back in, and then Young gets it in off the post at 1-0, and they're up. The boys are celebrating, good to go, and looks like it could be a roll to the end, to the second half. But no, this kind of also, again, inspired Doncaster to keep going. And they were there. We weren't there to put that second goal in, which I think will come with the team playing a little bit more together and getting. Not that they're not inspired. Never give up. Never die attitude is always on the pitch, coming from the crowd, the 12th man and everything. But they couldn't put the team away, and maybe more of like an emotional, like putting them down, heads go down. Doncaster, I got to say, did fight back. I think their one negative for them was Alawu, who was a little nervous at the back when the ball was coming down that right side as well, and Senior as well. But they still look inspired to go forward. Second half, Wrexham didn't come out. I would say there was, for whatever reason, like I said, Wrexham were still back in the locker room, and Doncaster came out guns blazing. It looked like maybe that could concede at this point, and guess what they do? In the 52nd minute, Fowl puts in a scrappy goal off a cross that the kid did really well for Doncaster. I think his name was Ironside as well. He had some shifty feet and cross in, and Fowl just heads it in. And no fault to, I would say, to Howard. Just it was a cross and they just couldn't get to it. I would say that after Hayden went off, our back line does look a little shaky at times, and that's probably the weakest point of the team. I think Parkinson's going to have to work on that, even though I do like that Tozer is solid and Boyle is solid at the back. Maybe it's a communication thing, but it just seems to sometimes just get a little too sloppy, laces out, booted to the back, and just they kind of lose their markers. I would say that's probably the weakest point at that time. So, Mullins, the game shifting a little bit after the goal. It's 1-1, and this time Mullins still warming up, and I would say 58, 59 minutes, Dalby's off, Mullen comes on, crowd goes crazy, Super Paul Mullins on. Dalby didn't really affect the game too well. I thought Palmer had a better game than Dalby up front. At this time, they also pull off Alawu on Doncaster because they saw Mullen come on. And to be fair to Mullen, he has not really had a preseason. He's missed, last 2 months with his injury, his injury to his lung. So he wasn't match fit. But granted, he got out there, stretched the field a little bit more, allowed our midfield to kind of get on the ball a little bit, trying to put balls down the line. And not bad. Not bad in regards to adjusting, getting Mullen back. I know they played together before, but having him not be there, they had to adjust by just playing Palmer and Dalby up front most of the time. So Yeah, the changes come at that time, and it looks like this could be leading into one of those 1-1 draws, a few chances here and there. I would say that McClayton at that point, I think it was about the 80th minute. 80th minute, McClayton and O'Connell kind of looked a little leggy, comes off, and Fletcher makes his debut, comes on for Palmer, and also as a shift at that point about the 80th minute when the team takes over. And Elliot Lee, who was jinking inside with Mullen, played a couple 1-2s, didn't quite work out with Mullen initially, but then 88th minute, Elliot Lee jinks in, right-footed, deflected goal. Keeper dives to his right, ball goes in. Great shot, 2-1. Wrexham fight back. There we go. Going into the 90th minute, +8, that is 90 +8 they go to. Doncaster fought back a little bit. I think that this is what you're going to get in this League Two. Some of it seems to be wide open, which is great. That's what makes the game so exciting. But after the goal went in, Fletcher was probably the best player on the pitch when he came on, number 26, the new signing. I thought he did really well. Really, really well, and I like the look of him. Hopefully, he stays fit as well. He's 36, but he looked really well. Him and Mullen could be really dangerous up front. I would see they have a lot of great depth up front for them. But couple corners here and there at the end for Doncaster, and Wrexham see it out. And huge win, big 3 points. You're going to look back at that, and we're going to say those were points we needed. And it was obviously you want all the points, but when you go up and then you draw. And then to fight back going 2-1, that's a huge win, a huge boost. Unbeaten in the last 6 games, and I think that they're trying to get their legs under them in the league. Obviously, when you're going up any league, it's got to be tough. But I really like that Mullen came back, really positive there. Team seems to be positive. Hopefully, Hayden's not too injured, and he could be back soon to help that back line out. I think that's probably our weakest point there for the team. But yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see Mullen. He's G'ing up the crowd at the end, doing his thing, and goals by Luke Young and Elliot Lee. Obviously, I think Lee is playing really well, but I would say the best player, even if he's on the short time, was Fletcher coming out just making an impact. And I know it's not like he wasn't playing the whole game, but just the impact and seeing the team come together. But Elliot Lee had a great game. I think he was limited because he did have that yellow card in the middle of the first half. But fair play to Doncaster coming. I think they're at the bottom of the table. Wrexham have 12 points. They're in 7th. And they go again. They go again next Saturday against Grimsby Town. I think it's next Saturday, probably about 7 o'clock, same time. And we'll be here to watch it. Actually, we'll be in France watching the game. So I'll be in France watching the game on the other side of the world and hopefully doing a Wrexham reaction from Paris. All right, everyone have a great Saturday. Big up the town. Well done. Great 3 points. Here we go.